much for the invitation to come and speak about innovation here at the University of Akron's Innovation Group and guests and visitors. I've been working in the field for a number of years now, and I will say that we have a lot of programs at Sherwin-Williams that interact and intersect with University of Akron, including sponsoring a PhD at in the biomimicry program. I've also been a mentor in the NSF programs that they have for teaching innovation to kids or students, if you will, and a number of other research-sponsored activities on campus in the Polymer Science Department. So we are very much interacting with the University of Akron all the time. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about our Open Innovation Program at Sherwin-Williams and how you actually innovate and disrupt in a large company and make money. And that's really the bottom line for anybody working in a corporate environment where you're responsible to your shareholders. So the Sherwin-Williams company has been around a long time, 150 years this year, and we're about to become quite bigger because in the first quarter of the year we hope to close on a major acquisition of Valspar. So we'll see how that goes, but that will in fact make us the largest coatings company in the world. Sherwin's revenue at the last year was about $11 billion, and you can see the big part of the pie is the paint stores group. How many of you have ever been into a Sherwin-Williams store? Well, we thank you for that patronage, and we really drive a lot of business, about 60+% business through our Sherwin-Williams stores. We have Global Finishes Consumer Group, which really is the aforementioned Thompson's Water Seal and other brands that are in that group that sell in the big box stores. We have a group in Latin America as well. There are stores in Latin America that look very much like Sherwin-Williams stores in the United States. So those stores, the Americas group, are really the specialty retail stores. We hope to top 5,000 stores soon. And the key to our success is consistency, having knowledgeable people within the store, and driving products that are new and innovative, that are sitting in our stores today, that are, they get trained on them specifically so that people understand what they are and how they work. It's not like going into a store where people are not trained. For example, the big box stores, you often have a hard time finding anybody who knows anything about the paint department. So that is one of our key advantages. In the consumer group, the Diversified Brands team has a number of products for sale, and you can see there's Minwax and Water Seal and Dutch Boy, Krylon aerosol products, Purdy paint brushes, so there's a number of brands. The brand Ronseal is in the UK. It's very much like Minwax in the United States, but it's very famous in the UK, and its slogan is, "It does what it says on the tin." And that is something that everybody in the UK knows, whether they know what Ronseal is or not. That's even been said in Parliament. So it's one of those very famous and old brands. The Global Finishes Group is the group that really does a lot of high-class coatings, if you will, and that is the work for protective and marine, aerospace, product finishes, automotive. And those coatings are high-performance coatings that go on bridges, tanks, military vehicles, and so forth. And those are very expensive coatings and are designed to protect high-value assets. Work in our global supply chain means we're providing services to all the selling divisions. So basically it starts with all the raw materials, goes through research and development, manufacturing, and then into transportation. So those trucks that you see on the road that are Sherwin-Williams trucks, those are our trucks, those are our drivers. And basically we have more than 85 manufacturing facilities globally. And then we have resource centers. And the resource centers are external innovation, polymer technology, analytical and physical characterization, microbiology, color, exposure testing, which we have the largest exposure testing site in the world, and it's right down here in Medina, Ohio. And basically, these resource centers work to help the entire organization rather than just one division. So we have a lot of brands, and having a lot of brands means in my business having to know a lot about each of these brands, what they deliver, who the customers are, who the marketing team is that helps design these products, marketing strategies, and also the R&D people who design the products. We also protect a lot of iconic landmarks that you may know, but you didn't know were Sherwin-Williams. For example, John Deere green is our green. UPS brown is our brown. So what can brown do for you? For me, it sells paint. For IKEA, we make the furniture coatings for IKEA. We're the largest supplier to them. The U.S. Army and the tanks, we have some CARC, chemically agent-resistant coatings that go on CARC, on tanks. They're called CARC coatings. The decks of Niagara Falls, if any of you have ever been up to Niagara Falls, we protect those decks with Thompsons. Gibson guitars are protected with our lacquers. All the paint that's provided to NASCAR is Sherwin-Williams. And the Golden Gate Bridge is our bridge, as I like to say when I go there. The Hollywood sign was painted with emerald, and we have a number of projects in London. It's called London Covered. And so these are just a few examples. We also painted the roof at the White House. I mean, we have a lot of different examples we could show you. But this is how much and how diverse our product lines and penetrate into the market. So what is innovation to us, and what is our mission? Well, basically it's to increase the flow of innovation into our company so that it can deliver value to our customers. So when you say innovation for the many, the many in our mind means every customer that uses a paint. And that can be anybody, really, because paint is a universal, ubiquitous type product that many, many people want and use because it provides color, it brings joy into their life, it makes their home look a little different than it did before. And so innovation to us means innovation for the customer. And open innovation, in particular, what I do is really to look for those breakthrough technologies that can give new basically properties and new things that no one's ever seen before to the world. So my team is the external innovation team at Sherwin-Williams. So basically, what open innovation means is that if you work in the laboratory every day, then the lab is your world. That's what you do. But in my case, the world is my lab. I get to go out and find materials all over the world that may or may not help us. But in order to know that, we have to test them, bring them in, and evaluate them. So our mission in my team, we have technology scouting, which we scout for materials all over the world. I have a proof of concept laboratory, and there we bring the materials in and test them. And then I have government funding, which means that there are calls for government funded projects all over the world, particularly Europe and the United States. And we're able to participate in those calls if they make sense for Sherwin-Williams, and we write a grant proposal, we get funded. We give the money to our partners, we never take the money, and we then can drive very risky projects with quite a bit of money. And I also have the information services team. What were formerly librarians, we don't really have a lot of books anymore, so I took those folks, put them under my wing, and they provide landscape analysis, competitive analysis, patent searches, and so forth. And that's very good to keep us up to date on all the things, and we need those guys because they help us really scout for stuff. So basically, putting open innovation into the funnel means we're at the fuzzy front end. We're at the very beginning, and basically at the stage 0, if you will. So the 5 stages of innovation or 5 stages of product development, the stage gate process, are what we follow at Sherwin-Williams. Some people say that's old-fashioned, but it works for us. We're kind of like Titanic floating on the ocean here. It's hard to turn around an old ship. So basically, the stage gate process works very well for the company. And at stage 0, which is where I live, we're to feed the funnel with new ideas and opportunities. So open innovation is what I call a contact sport. And if you don't go out and talk and talk and talk and meet people and travel and look at different things, go to different conferences, meet a lot of folks at startups, university transfer offices, places like that, the government laboratories, you'll never, ever, ever discover the thing that may most help you along the way. So you have to develop a broad and deep network. And the statistics are not only for us, but for others, it's about 100 to 1. For every 100 frogs you kiss, there's one prince. And so that's really the statistics that we have. We validated those over a 3-4 year period. And at some place like Boeing, where the bar is so much higher because there's so much more risk, the actual statistics are 10,000 to 1. But they continue to practice open innovation at Boeing. So what does it mean? So what do we do? So first of all, you have to identify the business need. And that business need is, if you're providing innovation for the many, whether that person is in a grand house or a small house, what do they need? What is it that they need? Because if you're going to deliver a product or something for them that's useful, you have to understand what they need. So you have to go out and do a little bit of work and understanding what exactly the problem is they're trying to solve and how can you deliver on that a solution for that problem. And that often involves working with marketing departments who are supposed to do ethnographic research and other types of research to understand that. Or you may get into it yourself with other folks. You can look at social media. You can do a lot of things to help identify problems. From there, we try to scout for the solutions for some of those problems, especially when there's a technology barrier. Many times, folks in the laboratories, I work with 1,200 researchers. So basically, if they can't figure it out, they're going to toss it over to my team. And that's when we start scouting for the problems to the solutions to the really hard problems. We also look for funding opportunities that might help us. So then my job is to facilitate a strategic partnership to make this person understand this person over here, outside the company and inside the company, and bring them together and have them understand what they provide, what I need, and how can we work together. And that can be a bit of a chore some days, because when you're working particularly with startups, I call them sometimes not ready for prime time partners. They are too small sometimes, so you have to be careful. But the idea here is to bring people together to form strategic partnerships to develop and deliver technology. We also do some proof of concept testing and demonstration projects and so forth. So where do we scout? We go out, we talk to universities, inventors. I have a very active LinkedIn account. People are sending me stuff all the time. Small businesses and startups, social media, government labs. So basically everywhere, except I usually don't talk to the current coding suppliers because all those other 1,200 people talk to them. So we call it innovating at the margins. So you look in adjacent spaces. That's where you look for things that can help you. So you go to cosmetics. Wow, that might not seem like paint, but hey, some people call it war paint, but it's paint, right? So it's inks, it's plastics, it's material science, it's paper. There's a lot of different areas where you can go scouting for things that might be interesting. So we have opportunity territories that are identified for us as scouting places: maintenance and durability, painting, custom solutions, visual appearance, sustainability, and customer connectivity. That's on my LinkedIn page. I'm going to skip what makes a good partner. It's important to have a proof of concept lab when you're doing this work, because it is a place where you can dabble and check things out before anybody else gets a hold of them. And you don't want to waste anybody's time and effort on something that doesn't work. And we do a lot of myth busting in our lab. And of course, the information specialists, as I said before, help us discern valuable companies, and also, are they real companies? Are they somebody who's in debt? Are they somebody who's got lawsuits and so forth? And then government funding. We leverage government funding all over the world, whether it's in Ireland or the UK or Europe or the United States, and then particularly the DoD and the Department of Energy. But the goal of all this effort is to take information, to take scouting, to take proof of concept testing and government funding, and produce collaborative relationships that deliver an innovation for that customer, whether that customer is big or small, whether that opportunity can where the opportunity can drive sales for Sherwin-Williams. So that's pretty much what I had to share with you this evening.